So this guy got monetized on YouTube in under 2 months, 57 days. Now, if he kind of looks like the person talking right here, well, that's actually my twin brother, Matt. Now, if this is the first time that you and I are meeting, my name is Mike, and I took what I learned being on YouTube since 2015, doing this as a side hustle, and more recently, full-time to grow my main channel, Your Driver Mike, to over 54,000 subscribers. So we took that knowledge, the best practices, and honestly a whole lot more to help Matt grow his new channel, Frunk to Trunk, to over 1,000 subscribers, earning over 4,000 hours of watch time in, 57 days, which allowed him to fully enter into YouTube's monetization platform. And I'm guessing that's the goal that you want for your channel. So knowing that, in this video, I want to go over a baseline 6 strategies that you can use as a framework to get into the monetization program yourself. So tip number 1, we're thinking about, okay, what is your channel going to be about? I am going to be honest with you. So the first question you need to answer is, does anyone care about this? Now, there's seemingly an endless audience right here on YouTube for most every niche, for a ton of different subjects. But if I'm honest with you, we need to make sure that there is a big enough audience that you can grow, you can scale, and of course you can monetize your creation here on YouTube, because I do not want you to waste your time. So things you can do to kind of figure out, okay, does anyone care about this? I would look at some data. I would do some searches in the YouTube search bar, do a Google search, and simply search for your niche, your category, what it is that you're going to be making content about, and then look at the search results. You can look at Google Trends. How popular are the search terms in your niche? Are there other creators making content in this same industry, in this same niche? Are there a lot of creators? Are there actually successful creators? Maybe 10K, 100K, a million plus subbed channels. Okay, so we have a viable niche for your content, right? That's confirmed by data. So now let's start to focus on your content itself, and really specifically, since you're just starting, the first videos, and really what kind of videos should you first publish? So let's look at the strategy that we did with Matt's channel, for instance. So what we did firstly is really to target the hot topics and or the biggest questions that were being asked. I recommend tackling some of the biggest questions first. Why? Well, because statistically, and you can see this on sites like Answer the Public, you can see it on Google Trends and just Google search in general, we know there's the largest audience that's looking for the answer to this question. So you really have to think about YouTube as a search engine, because literally that's what it is, just in video form. So what is your audience? What is that person coming to YouTube to solve? What problem are they looking to solve? Well, again, looking at Matt's channel, it's called Frunk to Trunk, talking about his experience with his new Tesla Model 3. So the first video that we published was, again, the hottest topic, answering a lot of the biggest questions, and we tackled taking delivery of the actual vehicle. So I would have the upside down triangle approach, really tackling the biggest questions, the hot topics, again, for your first videos, really trying to capture that big audience that's out there looking for these videos. And then number 2, tackling the secondary questions and the smaller topics. Now, keep in mind, yes, there is competition on YouTube, but don't worry about that. We're going to tackle all of that right here on the channel. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. So tip number 3, we need to understand, now that we're getting into the content here, the meat and potatoes of this, the basics of content creation. So what kind of gear should I get, right? I'm using this gear right here. The editing process, how to edit, how to capture, maintain your audience's attention, the SEO, the keywords, what about graphics? I get it. There is a ton to do, but don't worry. Again, we're going to help you right here on the channel. So just some basics. I mean, understanding the basics, that's tip number 3 is, starting with gear, use what you have. I did it on my channel, Your Driver Mike. Your phone, right? If you have a cell phone, it takes a video, use that. I could literally get, and I did, I got a $10 cheap mini tripod, just something to hold the phone. There you go. And then I did other things as far as editing. Are you committed? I'll ask you right now, you gotta be committed to this. And I'll tell you, since being on YouTube since 2015, this is going to be a long game as you're building and growing that audience here. So you're going to need to commit to, let's say, video editing. Are you going to learn video editing yourself? Are you going to invest in, let's say, Final Cut Pro? Or are you going to use free editing software like DaVinci Resolve or iMovie? But number 1, I definitely would map out talking points when it comes to your content. Don't wing it, because if you do, it's going to sound like,
okay, I think this is pretty good and you should probably do this, and
it doesn't sound put together. And in fact, I am reading notes right here for this video, and that is a big power hack. It doesn't take a lot of time. And again, just write up some talking points. Now, obviously, we can't cover all of these basics when it comes to branding, etc. here in just one video. So what I've done, if you're interested, if you want to make a small investment in yourself, is I have created a branding power PDF, a downloadable that can be found at yourdrivermike.com/YouTube branding. So strategy number 4 to enter the monetization program on YouTube. Well, obviously, we need to understand what is the monetization threshold. And that just means, hey, when can I start making money on my content? So if you didn't know, at the time of filming this video, to enter into YouTube's monetization program, you need 1,000 subscribers and you need 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. Now, if that seems intimidating, don't worry about it. You're in good hands here. So again, join the team and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So I want to break down each of those and how to do this. Again, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. So subscribers, why do you subscribe to the channels that you subscribe to? Well, again, YouTube is a search engine and it's solving a problem for the viewer. In this case, you're trying to learn how to grow, monetize, and dominate on YouTube. That's why you're on this channel. So know your value statement. What value will you provide to your audience? And I would really just have an avalanche strategy of value. Just keep delivering value, solving problems, answering questions, and that's when you earn the subscription. Now, don't be afraid to have what's called a call to action, like I just did prior, right? So again, if you want to grow, monetize, and dominate on YouTube this year, hit the subscribe button below this video to join the team. That is a call to action. I was just calling you to have an action, of course, which is to subscribe. I would have it every 4 to 5 minutes, just depending on the duration of your video. So it can be verbal, as you just heard, or it can be a graphic like a pop-up that you're seeing right now on the screen. Okay, so number 2, how can I get 4,000 hours of watch time in a year, in 12 months? Seems kind of intimidating. Here's how you're going to do it. There's a lot of strategies here, but generally, we just want someone to watch. The longer they watch the video, the more what's called an audience retention, the more of that you're going to have. And of course, the more watch time you're going to have. Now, a big mistake that I made over on Your Driver Mike when I first started was having a ton of fluff. It's like too much of opinions, too much of storytelling, or just tangents that don't provide value. So that is one of the biggest takeaways to now, knowing what I know now, is to cut the fluff from your videos. So strategy number 5 to ultimately get into that monetization program is to wrap everything in a nice package. Again, branding is so important. So think about when you go out to eat, right? It's constantly said, we eat with what? We eat with our eyes first. And it is the same thing here on YouTube. Attractive branding and ultimately a cohesive branding set. So what do I mean by that? So think about this, right? You get a Coke and you're familiar with that branding, right? If they had a random different logo and it said Coke, that wouldn't be cohesive. It's not just a uniform branding. So don't do that on your YouTube channel. I did this early on my channel and I feel like it was one of the best decisions that I did. And I want you to do this on your channel as well. So decide on really one main font set, one really group of colors, your branding colors. If you're going to have a logo, if you're going to make one, or you can contract one out on sites like Fiverr.com. Again, that's your logo. Don't mix it up. Have all of those things nice and cleanly laid out. And I would also extend this to thumbnail designs as well. Really cohesive, uniform. So whenever someone sees your content or your channel, they know that that is you. And tip number 6, to enter YouTube's monetization platform as fast as possible is watching the analytics. You're going to find that YouTube kind of gives you access to most every piece of data on your channel and the performance. It's a ton of data, but I'll tell you from experience, it is massively valuable for your channel. So here are some analytics that I would really pay attention to, especially when you're first starting. Now, sure, view counts are great, but I would not really obsess over view counts when you're just starting. What I would look at is what we talked about prior, really audience retention. Nextly, I will look at click-through rate, or CTR. So this is a good data point for how attractive is your title and thumbnail. You need an attractive thumbnail. It's kind of like that we eat with our eyes first kind of thing here on YouTube. You want to stand out in the midst of competition, of course, as well. So again, we go over that on yourdrivermight.com/YouTube branding if you'd like, but having cohesive branding that we talked about, having an eye-catching thumbnail that's not too cluttered up as well, you can see these analytics of, again, how well is the title and thumbnail performing with CTR. So that just means your video is being shown somewhere on YouTube, the subscription feed, the recommended homepages, up next, etc. And then the cumulative, or the total percent of times that someone clicks on that and watches the video, again, that's CTR. Now we'll have a whole video really going deep into analytics, but another thing that I will look at on the high level when it comes to analytics, obviously views, but I will look at where your views are coming from. So is it coming from YouTube recommending this content? Is it coming from subscription feeds? You know, your subscribers are really enjoying this content. Take a look at that, because if a lot of your traffic is, let's say, coming from YouTube recommended, then that means that YouTube is finding the right audience to watch this video, and you may have a really #1 video on your hands. So those are just a few strategies that we use on Matt's channel, Frunk to Trunk, to get him into YouTube's monetization platform really pretty quickly in under 2 months, where now he's earning money every single day on his videos. So if you'd like to do the same, if you'd like to earn money from making content right here on YouTube, again, definitely join the team and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So if you got value in this video, definitely drop me a like, and you can also click or tap screen here for my newest video, as well as a video recommended for you, and I'll see you in the next one.